let's talk about what is going on in the Florida housing market. And I specifically want to talk through advantages of being a buyer right now. We're going to talk through the 7 cities where buyers are actually having a ton of room and success with negotiating. Let's get into it. By the way, my name is Chelsea Winstead. If we have not met, I am a home financing strategist and a mortgage broker. P.S. I do help a lot of first-time home buyers in Florida. So if you are interested in any of the down payment assistance options or any of that good stuff, we can definitely have a conversation and chat. I work with a variety of investors who have access to these programs. With that being said, though, let's talk about some specific cities. I'm going to talk through median price point, how long homes stay on the market in these specific cities, and really also where they are selling. So are they selling under list price? Are they going over? And we'll talk about if it is a buyer's or a seller's market and why. Okay, first off, let's talk about Jacksonville. Median price here is sitting just under $300,000, which is one of the most affordable big cities to live in Florida. Homes are taking about 70 days to sell. So that is, I would say, a long time. And the average sale right now is about 3% under the list price. So only 11% of homes are ever going over asking, which means that most of them are going at or below. This tells us, I think the biggest thing here is that the 70 days to sell, that's a really huge indicator. This is definitely leaning us towards a buyer friendly or a neutral market. Big thing I always talk through, most of my clients that I work with have a lot of success with getting seller credits more than taking a huge hit on the purchase price. So reason being, it helps pay for your closing cost. You can also use that money to buy down your rate. So with homes that are sitting for 70 days or homes are taking 70 days to sell, lots of room and opportunity to negotiate to get some seller credit. All right, next up, let's talk about Orlando. So a little pricier and a little bit more active. So median price in Orlando is about $420,000. This is a little bit higher year over year. Homes, though, are still taking about 65 days to move, which is slower than last year. And the average closing price is about 3 to 4% under the list price. With only about 7% of homes selling above list, right now, I would consider that Orlando is a balanced market and it's gently like tilting towards buyers, especially if you are patient and especially if you are not lowballing people who are selling. Again, 65 days to move. That's a huge indicator that you have a very high likelihood of getting seller credit if you go in at the list price. Okay, now this is a very interesting one. So Tampa right now, median price is about $420,000, which is actually down about 14% compared to last year. Homes sit around 58 to 60 days, and the average sale is a few percent below list price, with many recent sales actually closing under asking. What this means is that, prices are softening and only 15% in total are going over list price. So, with this said, with prices down 14% year over year, that is so when you see year over year prices in specific cities being down, that means that you are in a market that is cooling, not often crashing, but cooling. So in this scenario, Tampa is going to be a really good spot if you want a bigger city, but you don't want to pay for Miami prices. So I would say with home prices being down and home sitting for 58 to 60 days, again, a lot of negotiation room for you to get the bulk of your closing cost and to be able to use some of that money to buy down the rate is a high likelihood. All right, let's talk about Miami. So Miami is still Miami, pretty pricey, but it has cooled off. So the median price is around $600,000, but prices are actually down about 4% year over year. Homes take a hot minute to sell in this market. So we're looking at over 120 days on market. And the average sale to list price is only about 94%. So most buyers are getting they're paying less than what the list price is marketed at. This is absolutely a buyer leaning market if you've got the budget. And again, that 120 days, that's like an insane, I shouldn't say insane, but like that, the fact that that's how long it takes for homes to move in this area, a lot of potential for negotiation. Okay, let's talk about St. Pete. So median price is about $435,000. Prices are up a few percent year over year. Just as a note, it's healthy for there to be an increase in price year over year. That means home values are appreciating. When you buy a home, you are going to want your home value to appreciate. So just keep that in mind. So it looks like prices are up a normal percentage. However, homes are taking around 65 days to sell, and the average sale is roughly 5% under list price. Most buyers in this area are negotiating some off the top, and I would consider that St. Pete is slightly buyer leaning, but there's still a little bit of a competitive market here. 65 days, I would say the longer, and I always say this, the longer homes sit on the market, the more negotiation leverage you have as a buyer. But with the average home taking 65 days to sell, it does seem like you would have a lot of advantages purchasing in this area. All right, Fort Lauderdale is where days on market really tell the story. Median sale to list price is right around 94%. The median sale price is around $530,000. Average home is selling about 6% below list price. But get this, it's taking around 120 days to go under contract in Fort Lauderdale. This is like by far the fact that most people are going under list price and that homes are sitting on the market for that long. This is definitely like considered it, by definition, this would be like a classic buyer's market. All right, final one. Cape Coral has cooled off after some of these post-hurricane years. Median price here is $367,000. This is down over 7% year over year. So that's like a decent cooling that we're watching. Homes are taking between 80 and 85 days to sell, and average home price here is going for roughly 4% under the list price. So this pretty much firmly puts Cape Coral in a buyer leaning market. And again, I think big picture, I always like to explain. It is always dependent on the house, okay? Even sometimes in like specific neighborhoods that's like really popular to get into. Typically, I tell people, if you are putting in an offer on a home that's been on the market for 2 days, you cannot whop somebody over the head with a low purchase price and then ask them to pay for all of your closing costs. It's just unrealistic. It's not likely to happen. The longer homes sit on the market, though, the more likely you are to have more negotiation room. To have them pay for your closing costs and to just have more negotiation power the longer they are waiting for an offer. Okay, 2 quick things. So first of all, if you are a first-time home buyer in Florida, there are a ton of state bond programs that we can look into, different down payment assistance options. I work with several different investors as a broker who have access to these programs, so we can run some numbers on that. As a note, though, one thing I'm really big on is most of the time people think that a first-time home buyer program is a loan type. It's not. It's often a state bond program that it is money that they will give you up front, but technically it is not free money. It's not a grant. It's often a second lien on your property. We will go into all the details. I'm very transparent with all my clients, so we can run through what that would look like, how much money you would get, and what the cost of that looks like. We'll also talk through just some of the limitations that come along with it as far as like refinancing and building equity on the home. But that is something that we can absolutely look into if you are a first-time home buyer in Florida and you are needing help on getting together your down payment and or your cash to close. Other thing I wanted to mention, I have a lot of military clients that I work with that come into Florida. If you didn't know this, I'm a prior Air Force officer. I've used the VA loan. This will be my 5th time. We are currently in the process of buying a home ourselves. We are taking advantage of this year-end, getting our negotiation power in. But if you are military PCSing into Florida, hit me up. I would love to support. We can run numbers, create a plan around your BAH. I can line you up with a really strong buyer's agent in the area that you are moving to. We'll just make sure you are covered from head to toe on that as you're coming inbound. Other final thing to note, so if you want to buy within the next 6 months, we should probably be chatting now, making plans now, figuring out what options we have, figuring out what loan we're going to use. Let's look at your debt to income. We'll do a soft credit pull only, but that will allow me to tell you what type of interest rates you'd be eligible for. It just allows us to make a game plan because I know 6 months sounds like it's far out, but y'all, it comes real fast. So if you're within the next 6 months, let's have a convo. Link on my profile, first option. If you are looking to buy within the next 7 to 18 months and you're interested, but you don't really want to like fully commit just yet, not an issue. I also have an option to get you added into my home search platform. You can learn a lot about what's going on in the specific market, see what's selling, seeing how long homes are sitting for. You can just wrap your mind around what a purchase price would actually get you. That option, link on my profile, second one is for you. As always, if you have any questions, comments are open, and I'll see you guys soon.